Hey there, this is Andy Grider. I'm the host and producer of Unique This Week. It's a production of Uniqueness is Power, and it's uniquenessispower.com. Feel free to jump on and find out about a lot of different people that are out there doing something different, doing something cool. And with us today, we have somebody who is doing something very unique, very cool. And it's something that I really wasn't aware of until I met Kay. Kay Lim is the founder and creator of Heartful Sprout. Heartful Sprout is a very unique offering in the realm of childhood nutrition. And Kay brought some things to my attention that I'm sure she's going to bring to yours that just kind of blew my mind. And so I'm very excited to have Kay with us here today. Kay, thank you so very much for being here. And let's go ahead and get started. Tell us a little bit. I know the genesis of this was around you becoming a mom right at the beginning of COVID. How did this all happen?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's my pleasure speaking about my journey. Yeah, I started this because I became a mom. I think that's a lot of ch children-focused startups start. So I became a mom in 2020, right when COVID started. And to me, feeding was the hardest thing ever because it leads to lifelong health conditions like food allergy and brain development, obesity, diabetes, and more. And as a new parent, I just wanted to get the basic thing done correctly. And I was really lost. I had to spend about like 10 hours a week just prioritizing information, like what's good for the baby, what not to do with the baby, and how to set the good foundation for the baby's life.
Right. I know one of the things you said to me that blew my mind was that the first 1,000 days, essentially, really the first 3 years of a child's life, are the sort of bedrock for all nutritional things that they're setting a standard on or a benchmark on. But then it's also to help combat the potential emergence of much later on in life diseases, whether it's diabetes or obesity or whatever else, like you sort of just mentioned. Talk to us a little bit about that side of things, because that's pretty darn important.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So the first 1,000 days, it actually starts from the womb, actually. So it's actually from pregnancy journey to about 2 years old. And that's the critical period for the children's nutrition because that has a very high impact on brain development, diabetes, and obesity, things that you mentioned about. And they talk about the how important it is to have the iron during the period because that helps develop the brain and also it helps developing the basically anything anything that baby is supposed to grow. And after that past the period, it's hard to come back to the proper projection. So there's so much importance out there in terms of the first 1,000 days, but it's hard to touch on that because as a new parents, we are already like fighting so many other things like just parenting, getting transitioning to new lifestyle and you name it, it's daunting journey as a parent.
Well, and I think a lot of people make the assumption that I would assume that even a lot of new parents make, which is, hey, there's already food out here. It's on the shelf. I should go buy it. So what's wrong with the food that's currently out there for babies? Does it not meet these needs?
Thanks for bringing that up. So there's so many packaged food out there that are even harmful to the baby.
I'm
There
sorry,
are a
they're
lot of
harmful.
processing.
They're harmful to the baby.
Yes, they're actually harmful to the baby.
Wow.
So it's not new news that 95% of baby food brands are harmful to the baby because it contains heavy toxic metals in it, just because of the way it gets processed. And There are good brands out there. I love good brands. I love good baby food brands, but those are too expensive for typical families, like just average families.
So what is the solution then, Kay? I mean, you've come up with something that's pretty incredible here. Let's talk about Heartful Sprout and what it is and how it helps someone who may find themselves in that dilemma of reading the article that says, hey, these foods are no good for my baby. these other ones are too expensive for my budget. So how do I take care of my child? So let's talk about that.
Yeah, basically what we're pushing is we would like to have parents prepare foods themselves, which is basically going back to old school, just eat the whole foods, like heavy, fresh produce, heavy meals, and go from there. But when it comes to when we were to prepare food, there's so many things that we need to think about. Um, like for example, nowadays, pediatricians are pushing for allergen introduction. We want to introduce allergenic food like in a natural way so that the babies grow the tolerance to those allergens. Also, they push for introducing one food at a time. That means moms need to really pay attention to what gets introduced and the sequence of it. And there are so many other nutrients like iron, zinc, things like that. But if you're to prepare food at home, those are basically too much to keep track of for a just average person. So what Heartful Sprout is trying to do is help them take off the mental load from their children so that they don't have to do the nutrition planning. We will do the nutrition planning. We will have create the meal plan for them so that they don't even have to think about the pediatric guidelines out there.
Wow, that's amazing. And now Heartful Sprout, just so our listeners are clear, is an app. It is a website. What is it exactly? How does it work?
Yeah, it's basically we start with mobile app because our audience is mobile first. You can think of it as a MyFitnessPal plus some recipe platform like All Recipes. The first level that anyone can get help from Heartful Sprout is recipe discoveries, feeding ideas discoveries. You can come join us, join our platform and see the feeding ideas for free, and just like how you do by Googling. But where we really shine is the data analysis part. We have the tracking part so that you can track the food introduction, allergy introduction, all the other nutrition that I mentioned before. We also does a lot of heavy work in analytics. We analyze your baby's growth. We estimate nutrition needs for your baby, and then we plan out the meals very tailored to the baby profile you provided to us. And based on that, we make the meal plan based off of that. That complies with all the pediatric guidelines that I talked about previously.
That's amazing, Kay. So essentially, this is the thing that most parents say they wished for, which is a user's manual for nutrition for their kids. And it's tailored to the baby themselves because of the data the parent is providing. Did I understand that properly?
Yes, you're right on point.
Mm. So the other thing I was wondering, I mean, you're building a community here essentially of new moms. Is there community engagement or involvement for the moms? Is there a way for them to talk to each other as well as use the app?
Yes, so we are trying to build collective wisdom. The contents that we curate are not just from experts. We highly encourage the users to contribute the feeding ideas themselves because every mom has gone through this for generations, and we want to collect them and curate them properly. So on our app, it works like Instagram. You can see the feeding ideas from other users, and then you can like it, you can comment, you can even rate it, and then based on that, we can curate better quality content. And another benefit that comes from that is we are trying to tap into picky eating problem as well. There are certain taste profiles that kids tend to love, and it works like Netflix. If your baby likes, let's say, broccoli texture, but wouldn't eat any other veggies, then we might be able to find broccoli texture, some other veggie oriented plates. We use your engagement data to create the recipes that actually works for your kids.
And these are going to be recipes that are good for both the expecting mom, I'm assuming, we're going to have a section that's about that because you're feeding in utero at that point. And then also for the first 2 or so years of the child's life. So when, I mean, nutrition never stops being important, but can we go back to talking a little bit more about how important it actually is? Because I think that's a fact that certainly was lost on me. And maybe I'm projecting a little bit here. Maybe I'm saying, well, this is what everybody else thinks because I think it. I hope I'm not that shallow, but but to me, that's fascinating because I don't think I ever realized how critical that in utero. I mean, I knew pregnant moms needed to eat properly and stay away from drinking and smoking, right? I knew all, those basic things. But you're talking about a whole different world here, Kay. Talk to us a little bit about how important is that? And you talked about it being able to avoid markers in the future and future issues. But can you give a little bit more background on that? Because I find that to be fascinating. I think it's something our listeners would love to know more.
Yeah, so where do I begin? I think I should begin with the onset of the pregnancy. I can tell you my personal story. For my second baby, I had gestational diabetes, and but from my second baby, I knew that my first baby also has gestational diabetes, but I didn't know about it. My OB didn't catch that, and then my first one was really big baby. But from the birth, I didn't know about it. It just kept going. But when my first one was born, she was born like 9.5 pounds, which was certainly big baby. And from there, it was always on my mind, like, is she too big? Is she already obese? Is she already overweight? My pediatricians don't really say that it's nothing to worry about, but as a mom, it just like stick to me. I don't want her to go through the whole obesity stuff. But now I look back at it, I knew that it started from the pregnancy journey. So the pregnancy journey sets the whole the beginning of the children's life's health, and then it just continues. For my second baby, I knew that I need to watch out for the gestational diabetes, and then my OBA fortunately caught that. And from there, I had to control my diet, and he was born fine, perfectly normal size, slightly tall, but that gave me a whole lot of relief on about his health, because now he's like perfectly fine on the growth chart, not like 99% outlier to worry about. So from there, I personally experienced the difference between the nutritional importance from the onset of the pregnancy, and it carries on. Even like after the baby was born, what they eat matters a lot, like I said, and anything can have a butterfly effect. So as a mom, I really wanted to get it right. I wanted to make sure that all the guidelines are followed, like food allergy introduction, things like that, so that I don't see any of those things that I miss get worse and worse throughout their life health projection.
Right. Well, and you're taking such a level of care and responsibility that shouldn't be surprising. But in some ways, I think in our culture, people aren't as proactive as they need to be necessarily. They're going to reach for the packaged food on the shelf. They're going to take the quote unquote easy way out. But at the same time, you've painted such a stark picture of what a difference it makes to take that time and build the care in. If somebody wanted to use the app, is it available to download right now?
Right now, at this moment, we're in beta with limited features, but anyone is welcome to join our beta. We appreciate any feedback. We are planning on launching it officially Q1 next year.
And so to that end, with you being a brand new company, Kay, what are the resources you're looking for? Is there funding you need? Is there other things you can work with? If someone listens to this and says, oh, I know someone who would really find this to be right in their sweet spot, what are you looking for right now?
Yeah, we're looking for three things. First, beta users, like I mentioned, we're looking for feedback. The second one is someone from pediatric nutrition space. We have an amazing advisor, but we definitely would like to work with more experts in this field. That could come from pediatricians or even nutritionists who have experience in helping parents just with the General Health Foundation. Well, we would like to get them feedback and we would like to get the help shaping our future to help the parents better. The third one is, like you mentioned, we're looking for fundraising. We're very young and very early stage, so we're looking to raise a pre-seed round from either angels or pre-seed VC. Basically, looking for partnership in the fundraising space.
Excellent, excellent. And so if somebody wanted to share what we're doing here or what you're doing here with others and share this interview, obviously they can take the link and forward it on. But how would someone contact you, Kay? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes, I have an email address. I don't know if I can drop it here,
Well,
but
I'll just tell us and I'll make sure it gets on the screen for everybody. Sure.
awesome. Thank you. You can contact me at kkay@heartfulsprout.com.
Excellent. Excellent. And so, Kay, what else is what you said you're launching this out Q1? What are the next steps? What are the big plans for the future here? What can we leave our listeners with? What's a nugget we can leave them with?
Yeah, basically, we are on a mission to help our parents make their lives easier, basically. There are two mega trends that I want to highlight. First one is that the parenting demographic has changed. Now we are now parenting generation is mostly millennials, and millennials are health conscious and data savvy. And there are so many nutrition tracking apps out there, but there's none for baby nutrition space, even though it's that's the health foundation for the life. So we're trying to build that. We're trying to build a health foundation for the very beginning, and hopefully, it will make the parents' life easier and get their babies that happy smile.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Kay. Well, you're leaving us with a happy smile because this is brilliant. This is unique. It's wonderful. It's blue ocean. It's everything we look for in something we do for our listeners. And I want to thank you very much for taking the time to be here today. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you. Thanks for having me.
it's our pleasure. Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, you heard from Kay Lim today, who's the CEO and founder of Heartful Sprout. If you have a child who's expecting, a grandchild who is expecting, a friend, a neighbor, someone who who is looking to plan for a family, as Kay said, a lot of times it's overwhelming. So taking anything off the plate is important, but when you're adding in value and taking things off the plate, and taking them off the plate's a little of a funny expression too when we're talking about nutrition and food. But anyway, again, please take this, share it with folks get them involved in the beta test or the launch if this is in Q1 or later of 2024. Again, if you know somebody who's a nutritionist, somebody who could help with the funding, somebody who's a pediatrician who is interested in jumping in and being a helping hand, Kay's looking for all of those things. I've found it an absolute delight to get to know her and very, very excited for her future. My name's Andy Grider. We have a really fun time putting this show together every week. It's called Unique This Week. It's at uniquenessispower.com. There's about 45 episodes up there now. And we're seeing more and more and more great, amazing people coming in every week. I mean, ideas upon ideas. So take a look, see what's there, see who might bring a spark to your thought process, to your perspective, to your creativity, to the way in which you're looking at things. Or maybe it's just somebody you say, wow, I really wish I had known about this sooner. Take the time, dig in, see what you think, and let us know. Thanks. Appreciate it. See you next week.